Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your another session of your online classes. Children, we were studying lesson number 9, Force and Laws of Motion. Children, today is the fourth part of the lesson. And children, just to remind you that we were studying about the laws of motion. Now, children, this was my concluding slide of yesterday. That what does Newton's second law says that Newton's second law says that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the unbalanced force that is acting on the body, and the direction of momentum is the same the direction of the unbalanced force. This was the statement that we studied in the last yesterday. Now, children, today we are going to understand the mathematical derivation of Newton's second law of motion. Okay, so let us start the derivation with a picture. You can see. Let us consider an object having a mass m, right? And let us imagine that it is moving with the initial velocity u. Now, the second picture, children, you can see below that a force F is applied to the body. Force F is applied to the body for a particular given time t. And now the velocity changes into the final velocity. So final velocity is represented as v. Okay, again I am repeating. Let us consider an object. Let us consider a body having a mass m, and it is moving with the initial velocity u. Now, to this particular body, we are applying a force for a time duration of t, and our velocity now becomes the final velocity, that is the v. Okay, let us consider that an external force acts on the body F for a given time t, and the velocity now changes into the v. Okay, children, yesterday I taught you how to calculate momentum of a body. Momentum is actually nothing but the quantity of motion. So it is mass into velocity, and it is a vector quantity. Okay, so what will be the initial momentum of the body in this particular case? It will be mu, mass into initial velocity. What will be the final momentum of the body? It will be m into v, mass into the final velocity. Okay, now how much the momentum has changed? How much momentum has changed? How do we calculate it, children? From the final momentum to subtracting the initial momentum. So it will be final momentum minus the initial momentum, or we can also write it as mv minus mu. Taking ms common, we can also write it as m bracket v minus u. And children, the time taken to change this momentum, right, it is t. Initially no time was mentioned, so we will consider it as 0. So t minus 0. So therefore the time taken to change this momentum is t. I hope, children, I am able to make you understand. We are studying about Newton's second law of motion. Okay, again I am repeating. Let us consider an object having a mass m, and it is moving with the initial velocity u. We apply an external force F for a given time t, and now the velocity changes into v. Okay, now in this particular case, children, the initial momentum is mu, the final momentum is mv. So how much change in momentum has taken place? M bracket v minus u, and the time taken is t. I hope, children, I have made you clear. Okay, now rate of change of momentum. Okay, rate of change of momentum is equal to change of momentum, okay, upon time taken. Okay, so it comes out to be like this. It comes out to be like this. M, what was the change of momentum? Just we calculated, children. M v minus u upon t. Okay, now I hope children this much you have understood. Now children, according to Newton's second law, now coming to the statement of Newton's second law, that the force applied to any object is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. Okay, so what is the force here? F. Okay, now children, this particular sign is a sign of proportionality. Okay, so proportionality means some condition is there, है and what is the change of momentum? V m bracket v minus u upon t, right? Now children, in lesson number 8 I have taught you equation of motion. In this lesson, laws of motion, and in lesson number 8, equation of motion. In first equation of motion, we have studied that A is equal to V minus U upon T. So we can substitute A in place of V minus U upon T. So substituting that, now our equation becomes F directly proportional to mass into acceleration. Now children, this sign of proportionality denotes that certain conditions are acting. Okay, and when we remove those conditions, we have to apply a constant here. Okay, and every time in ninth standard we will be calculating some other constant also. So children, each constant has got certain values. In this particular case, the value of constant k is 1. So our equation becomes F is equal to m into A. F is equal to mass into acceleration. Thus, we understand that the force acting on an object is directly proportional to the mass of the object and also directly proportional to the acceleration. Now, what is the unit of force, children? I'm very much sure you have studied this in your lower classes, but still let us understand how to find out the SI unit of formula of force. If we know that F is equal to m into A, children, what is the SI unit of mass? It is kg. What is the SI unit of acceleration? Studied in lesson number 8, it is meter per second square. So our SI unit of force is m into A, so it is kg into m upon s square. Okay, kg meter per times per second square, or it can also be written as 1 Newton. Now children, when you write Newton completely, remember that n has to be small. If you are writing only n, then n has to be capital. There are certain rules that we need to follow, so please take care of this particular aspect. If you can use any of these three units of force. You can also write it as kg meter per second square. You can also write 1 Newton full, NEWTON, or you can also write 1 n. But if you are writing this, n must be capital. Now children, let us understand some interesting facts and certain examples from Newton's second law of motion. Now children, yesterday I gave you many interesting examples of Newton's inertia, inertia of rest, inertia of direction, and inertia of rest. Today let us understand Newton's second law example with some interesting figure. Now children, this picture you can see the bowler is catching the ball, but when he catches the ball he lowers down his head so that the momentum produced in this particular case is less and his hands are hit less. Second, now children, by mistake you must have fallen sometime in your home when it was wet during rainy season. Take care of yourself, but I'm just asking, you must have slipped sometime. Now when you slip on a floor, we get injured very much, but children, you must have gone to Mithapur beach also many times, and when you fall down there by mistake, you are hurt very less, right? So it happens because less momentum on the sand, more momentum on the cement floor. Now children, let's see here in this picture. You can see one of the train was at rest, but one of the train was in motion. Now, if an accident takes place in which a moving train collides with a stationary train, so here too much damage will be there because here momentum produced is very high. Now children, all cycles that you are using, and two wheelers, four wheelers, you must have seen that there are some shock absorbers or there are springs, children. Right? These shocks or springs are there to absorb the extra momentum that is produced. If these are not there, then the person who is driving the bike, he will be fine, but the person sitting at the back will fall down from the bike. Right? Now, if you hit your hand on the floor or on the wall, you are going to get it hit very hard, right? But it happens because more momentum is there. But children, if the same activity you do with the sponge of the car, you are hurt very less. Okay? Now, this some of you are, I know, very good at karate. So, children, a karate player, you must have seen we had all these activities somewhere on the Republic Day, I think 2 years back. Now, when a karate player breaks the tiles, right? What he does, he brings his hand already in a very high velocity so that even his hand has high momentum since the tiles are at the rest, so their momentum is less, and in this way he is able to break the tiles. In this picture, children, two boxers are boxing, like they are trying to hit each other. Now you can see the other boxer, he has lowered down his head. Okay, right? And why does he do that? He does that so that when the other player hits him, less momentum is produced, and in this way he gets injured less. So, children, this was all about today's lesson. I hope you have understood the mathematical derivation. Please do that numerical once, many times in your notebook, and try to write all the notes that I am giving you in your classwork notebook. Please do mention the dates and need not draw the diagrams, children. These are the pictures that I have taken from the net. I have taken them just so that our lesson becomes more interesting and you are able to understand the concept. Please do give me your feedback, children, on my email address. Thank you. God bless you. And children, take care of yourself.